Ideally, I would want to follow the side of the choke here. Oh, sorry, follow the side of the... We're gonna do a parachute escape. Talk about that a little bit. I only do it if he has double unders. This is the only time I would do it. Because if I did it, if you have seatbelt, like go seatbelt, like if I go for it now, he can easily choke me, right? It's not a good idea. So you can always pummel to force double overs. And then from there, I like to lean forward so he's kind of like disconnected as much as possible. And then from there, I'm gonna grab his feet and peel the feet out. And once I do that, then I'm gonna look to start turning into him and like jump, or not jump, but like get over one of his legs, right? And so once I'm over one of his legs, I can start to square up, or I can start to bow out even more and keep your connection, Tony. You keep following me. And then once we get here, we have our options that we worked on last week. We can either do like a sit out by like driving our back into his head and then breaking his grip and shooting our hips out. Once we break the grip, we can turn in. Or if he's like following me super tight and he's on his knees, I could do a Grammy, right? I can hold his wrist and I'm gonna look to Grammy roll. And as I do that, I get my reversal, right? Okay, one more time. So sometimes you do this and you end up on your side. And if that happens, it's not the end of the world, okay? You still can do this escape. I just focus more on the bottom hook. So my top hand will grab his hands and I'll peel the bottom hook off and I step over and I slide out. And then once I slide out, I start turning into my opponent. Okay? And then one more time for the first setup. We're here. If he has seatbelt, I pummel through, pull my arm through, force the double unders. And then I'm gonna look for the parachute escape. I can hop over one of the legs. He follows me up. At this point, I can do a sit out. Sometimes I can hit a switch, or if he stays connected, he's super tight. At that point, I can choose to do a Grammy. And when I do this, I like to hold his hands and pinch my elbows in because I don't want to fall on my elbow. So I pinch them in so that way I have a smoother roll, okay? And then from there, I go for it, right? From there, turn into my opponent, boom. Side turtle here. And the way I work this position is very specific. If you're like posted on your hands and you're not tucking your chin, he can easily set up his choke, okay? Or like get his hooks in. So yeah, exactly. So I wanna like be smart how I play this position. So I'm posted on my elbows, and my arms are inside of my legs, and I'm using my hands to hand fight here, and I'm tucking my chin. And here's like a little good way to always tuck your chin is look between your legs. If you're looking between your legs, you're tucking your chin. So you're here, and now from here, try to choke me. It's a lot harder, right? Try to get your hooks in. It's like my elbows are blocking that space, so it's a lot harder, okay? Now from here, he'll start to tip you, and as he tips you, he might lock up that choke, right? And as he locks up the choke, you gotta make sure he does not get his bottom hook, okay? So if he gets his top hook, okay, that's one thing, but we cannot let him get the bottom hook, okay? So we have to make sure we pin in that leg, we're laying on that leg, we preventing that leg from getting that hook in, okay? And now, once that happens, even if he happens to lock up the choke, like right here, you can actually slide out and start turning into him, okay? And it's gonna be hard for him to kind of stay square and follow you with that choke, okay? Now, even in a neutral, sometimes he'll get one hook in, and then as he gets his hook in, he's gonna try to like force you to fall that way, right? So if he gets one hook in, we have to sacrifice fall the other way because we have to make sure he doesn't get his bottom hook. So we go here, and now as I like lay on his leg, try to get that bottom hook. Okay, I'm tucking my chin, I'm hand fighting, 2 arms on the choking arm. And then from there, I'm gonna look to slide out, but you gotta be careful on this one because if you slide out, you might get arm triangled, right? All right, so let's actually here. Yeah, there you go. You might get arm triangled, right? So you do gotta be careful of that. So if you happen to be on the side of the choke, so, yep, this is gonna be choking arm, this one. There you go. So as you're here, if you happen to be on this side, you make a rule. I don't fully clear his leg. I keep laying on his leg until I pull this arm through. Once I pull this arm through, now I can start to like get my back to the mat and square up. He may try to mount you. So as he tries to mount you, you can kind of like anticipate that and use that to set up your counters, okay? Hey, they got the bottom hook somehow. But now we have to switch our mindset to like preventing the top hook now, okay? So he got his bottom hook. He did a really good job there. So we want to bring our knee up high and like almost touching our elbow. Our elbow's still ideally on the inside, okay? And you're here, and that prevents him from getting his top hook in, okay? Now, at this point, he switches to clamp control. So he's gonna cross his feet. Yep, just cross, not lockdown. I mean, you could do lockdown like this. If this happens, this is like a different scenario. And this is against the rules in like some organizations like IBGF and stuff like that. So people more do like just like kind of crossing your feet. Cross your feet like an X. Yeah, like that, exactly. So this is happening, and some people have been having a hard time dealing with this as late. So I'm gonna show you how I deal with this, okay? So from here, when you're ready, I'm gonna look to escape. And as I escape, I'm pretty much gonna use my thigh and like the back of my leg to like go down into his feet as I bring my bottom knee up. So like a scissor kick almost, okay? So I'm here, I'm defending. I'm gonna look to use that scissor kick motion to break out the grip. Now you gotta be careful because now he has top hook, but you got a nice angle to start hipping out. And now we're back to that same scenario. Be careful of the arm triangle, right? We just talked about that. So if you feel like you messed it up and he's already trying to go into it, what I do is I drive into it more. So I pin him again. So that way it's hard for him to get up and finish the arm triangle setup. So at that point I look to pummel and then I can escape or counter, okay? So one more time. Okay. Now we fall. Okay, he got the bottom hook. I'm trying to prevent that top hook. If he happens to go like a lockdown, like go for the lockdown like you were trying to do, yep. If he happens to do this, like this is like not comfortable, right? What I want to do is get this like windshield wiper or my foot to the mat ideally, okay? And, like you like hook my leg so I can't do that. Okay, so from there, you would use this leg to push that foot down and then try that again, okay? And then from there, you're back to the clamp position. Okay, you scissor kick to get out. He tries to set up for an arm triangle. I drive into him, I pummel, and I'm good to go. They're calling it the Genie choke. It's pretty interesting, pretty cool. Happened in the UFC. So right here, you know, you're in a scenario that you get under his neck and you want to grab like the back. You can relax your hands for a little bit. You can grab the back of his neck or his collarbone. If you grab his shoulder, you can tuck his chin, right? You lost it, right? So like I usually get under his neck and I'll grab the back of his neck. And it's a little awkward to develop, but it's really strong once you do. And now try to tuck your chin, you really can't, right? And this is how I'll do my one-arm chokes as well. And he goes 2-on-1, and then he pulls it down, right? This happens to all of us, right? So if you go here and he's starting to go 2-on-1 and pulling it down, and you feel like you're about to lose that, you're gonna use this free arm to go over his hands, and you're gonna grab your elbow. What this does is reinforce your grip so you can't pull it down no more. And now to finish this, it would be similar to finish a one-arm choke. You flex, shrug, and then you're gonna rotate to the side of the choke. The mistake people make with this one, they pull with that free arm, and don't do that. So you would wanna get here, and then so my right arm's a choking arm, I still wanna rotate towards the side of the choke. I'm still rotating towards the mat. If you rotate the other way, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it, it makes it looser. So make sure you don't rotate towards the free arm. Make sure you rotate towards the choke arm, okay? All right, and so even if you fall on the side of the opposite side of the choke, so say we got this choke again, right? And I fall here, at this point, I'm gonna rotate my choking elbow to the ceiling, to the side of the choke. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is we have the hands trapped, right? Like 2-on-1, and we're here, and what's gonna happen is he's gonna start to pull his arms out to like, you know, defend and hand fight. And as he pulls his arms out, that's when you'll switch back to your regular choke, okay? On the other side now, so you can see that. He goes right here, 2-on-1, I go for the Genie, he pulls his arms out, start hand fighting, that's when you go back to your regular choke, okay? I want you to get a couple reps of the Genie choke first, and then play that game a little bit, okay? The Thunderlock, okay? I do this in the scenario that he's doing like a lot of answering the phone defenses, like, yeah, exactly. So his elbow's high, right, like this. That's when I'll start doing this. Because now the Genie choke is gonna be hard, getting under his neck is gonna be hard, like pushing this down is gonna be difficult. So that's when I'm gonna start pulling his arm upwards. Ideally, I would wanna fall to the side of the choke here. Oh, sorry, fall to the side of the under, not the side of the choke. And then from there, if I'm able to, I would like a figure four. I'm sorry, Tony, I don't want to hurt you. Let me know if it hurts you, okay? Ideally, I would want to do it with a figure four. Just a little bit better. Now, with this hand, I'm going to weave it through the gap, and I'm going to go half Nelson, and I'm going to grab his neck, okay? If you can see what I'm doing with my left hand. I really want to keep it on his neck and his head. This hand's going to brush his hair, and it's going to grab his elbow and his like tricep, okay? So I'm brushing his hair, grab his elbow and tricep, and I'm going to pull his elbow upwards as I push his head away. Okay. You can also, like, as you start to like do this and you get resistance and he's bringing his arm back down, now from here, since you have a deep hook, you can always push the head. So instead of doing this, you can push the head this way, swing the leg over and go for the arm bar instead as well. So you can always use the arm bar as a backup if the dorsey lock or Thunderlock's not working, right? So I like to call it Thunderlock. So we're here. Okay, we're in this position. Okay, he's answering the phone. It's difficult to get the choke or the Genie choke. So I weave through that gap. I grab his neck, ideally with a figure four. And then from there, brush his hair, grab his elbow, push his head away, and pull the elbow towards your upper hip, okay? There's a tap. He brings his arm down. Yep, and then from there, you're going to push his head and swing the leg over and go for your arm bar for the backup.